Hello everyone and welcome to C1 Insider, your resource from Creative One for staying up to date on the latest tax, industry, and legal developments that could affect you, your clients, and your practice. I'm your host, Dennis Mattern. Today I'm joined by Andrew Payne, Vice President and General Counsel of Creative One. Andrew, welcome.
Great to be here, Dennis.
Now, the purpose of today's video and why we're here today is just to give an update on the Department of Labor Fiduciary Rule. We've just turned the year into 2018, so we're a fresh new year. It's January. Do we have any developments? Where do we stand?
You know, as our last video indicated, and I think if you followed industry news, you'll know that the fiduciary rule has been delayed until July 1 of 2019. So that's 18 months away. There's a long way to go, but you still have to maintain your 8424. You still have to comply with the impartial conduct standards. Everything you've been doing since last June, you still have to do. A couple things we're keeping an eye on is the court case from the Fifth Circuit.
The court case that everyone is still waiting to hear.
You know, that hearing was done on July 31st, 2017. So we're waiting with bated breath on what they're going to say. We think we're going to hear something in the next couple months. That could really determine the fate of the rule. So if you're trying to keep up with what's going on with the fiduciary rule, that's a good place to look.
Now that really has been dragging on for a long time, and I know we've been talking about it for quite a while. We're waiting at any moment. Any idea? This is your opportunity to speculate. We're not going to hold you to the record, but any idea why it's taking so long?
I have no idea, Dennis. There's no real reason. Some say that the average length of a decision in this circuit is about 2 months. We've been about 6 months, so I don't really know what the situation is. But you know, it's an important decision, probably the most important decision that we're going to face with this rule and with this compliance regime. So we're all waiting with bated breath.
So to reiterate, though, I always worry about this because a lot of folks, when they see that the rule had been delayed, I think they thought that it was business as usual, don't worry about a thing. But the reality is, the phase 1 of the Department of Labor Fiduciary Rule did go into effect, which is the impartial conduct standard, and which is that 8424. Right. And from what I've heard, what we've been hearing from different carriers is, although companies have said they don't want a copy of it, they're now spot checking. Is that
right? So that's a big change. Some carriers are asking for certain individuals, some randomly, some not, to give their 8424s when they submit business. That's a big change. And if you haven't been doing your 8424s as well as you could have, or if you're not confident in it, Creative One's here to help you with that. We've got a system where if you don't know your compensation, you can look it up through our system, and it will even plug it into an electronic digital 8424 for you. It takes all the guesswork out of it, takes all the legwork from you. So use to do that, and just know that carriers, in addition to the Department of Labor, are really going to be looking for that 8424. It has to be done.
And that takes us back probably one of our favorite words and one of the biggest pieces of advice that we can give a producer, which is document.
Right. Document everything. As we've mentioned before, make sure you have a rationale for your sale. Make sure that you're doing your 8424 and you're generally disclosing all the necessary information to your client.
Now the last thing then for us to talk about before we wrap, so we've got the fact that it's an 8424 world. Make sure that you're doing it because you should be doing it. 1 and 2, carriers are spot checking. We're waiting on the fifth court for that decision. But then if for some reason, say the decision comes back and the DOL Fiduciary Rule is erased from history, NAIC is working on something. Is that right?
So, well, and what you mean by that is the states are working on it. The states are looking into whether there should be a best interest rule in addition to a suitability rule. So we're all familiar with the suitability rule. The states are trying to figure out whether they should, incorporate best interest or incorporate a fiduciary rule into state law. And that's something we're keeping an eye out here on Creative One. If you're a real, fiduciary rule wonk, a real nut about it, you can follow it. There's some good websites out there that are tracking it. But us here at Creative One are trying to have our say in how that's drafted, and that's certainly the next legislative or next regulatory fight, or at least regime that we're looking to work with in terms of how our agents are going to interact with the world.
I think that's really important because there do need to be rules. There does need to be a governing body, if you will. And we here at Creative One are out there assisting, helping to craft.
Sure. And we just want the regulators to know that independent distribution is a valued model, that our independent agents provide a valuable service, and if they incorporate that into what they come up with, then we're going to be happy with it.
All right, well, we will keep you posted on any developments that come up. If you are looking for any resources, we do have a fantastic Department of Labor fiduciary resource page on our website at creativeone.com. And that's going to do it for today's episode. So for more of C1 Insider, stay connected with us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, or you can join us right here on c1insider.com. We'll see you next time.